accredited public relations certificate or certification, how do you go about getting that?
So it's basically there's a couple things that you have to do. You have to be working in the industry for 5 or more years. You have to, that's probably the most prominent thing you have to do. Once you start the process, there's a few tiers to it. There's 3 essential parts to getting your APR. One, there's a pretty lengthy, they call it the questionnaire, but basically that's what it is. It's a fairly lengthy document. It can end up being 7, 8, 9 pages that's basically explaining who you are as a professional, what it is you've done with your career, why it is you're seeking to get an APR certificate, what it is you hope to do with it, and then there's some questions in there about what it is you've done in your career that matches the standards of the program for the APR. And so after you've done that, and they accept it and you're granted, you then go through a series of classes where you have textbooks and things, and you're learning about the best practices of our industry. And it's a really big deal because one of the problems in PR is that it's not like you get a law degree and you go practice law. There isn't necessarily one specific college degree that you can have to become a PR professional. And likewise, there aren't always, there's a wide diversity of uses of the term public relations in the working world. There's a lot of people that claim that they're PR professionals and they're not really doing what it is you guys are going to school to do. So this program is designed to instill best practices and also make sure that there's a universal language to explain what it is we do and how we do it, and so that the senior level practitioners that are out there kind of as ambassadors for our industry are all kind of talking the same talk. The second part of that is an oral review where you actually put together a presentation of a body of your work that you've done, like a campaign or a project, and you actually go before an oral review board and present it to them and give them basically a recap of what you did, and it kind of has to be self-critical. It's not just like, I am so great at what I did, and this is, I just want to dazzle you with my work. You actually have to kind of show, this is where I would have done something differently based on what I know about the best practices in PR. This is where I am proud of what I did. So if you pass that, you then go on to take an exam that is a 4-hour exam. It's 200 questions, covers 60 different areas of the public relations industry, and it's all multiple choice, but 50% of the questions are scenario-based questions where you go and they ask you, they'll give you a hypothetical situation. You are the public affairs director at a nonprofit organization. A member of the board of your trustees has just been arrested for mismanagement of funds. Which of the following is the best type of research that you should institute to begin a crisis campaign? So a lot of the questions, you really have to have an understanding of strategy, because many of the questions, there's not a wrong answer, but there's a right answer. There's a best answer, but not a wrong answer. Does that make sense? So, sorry, that was a long answer to a short question. But a lot of people get it for that reason, because they kind of, when you're working in the industry, and there are a lot of people out there who, they might have, done a special event once in their career, so they decide that they're a public relations professional, and they put that title on their profession. So,
I spent a year studying, and I spent a year getting ready to take the exam, and I did it under the old system where it was an essay thing.
Yeah, right.
And so it was over 2 weekends. There was essay one weekend and the oral presentation the other weekend. I mean, it kicks your ass. It's a tough thing. The Ramsey Steele case that you did, that was one of the essay questions. I mean, it was hard. And the people you make the oral presentation to, you can't dazzle them because they're undazzleable. And I don't know how fast it is now. It was months before I found out. It was like 4 months after I took it that I got the results. So it's like 4 months going, I'm so stupid. I don't know if I do.
Now,
it's probably faster now.
Now, a screen comes up again and tells you if you pass or fail.
Hey.
Right there.
Technology
Which
is
is
great.
like, well, it's good, and it's also kind of like,
Yeah.
there's no debriefing time. You're like, oh, it's good to get away from this. It's like, yeah,